What I wanted to do, I've had a super long week of work and stuff this week. I basically just wanted to go over what the next 2 weeks of my kind of tapering is going to look like when it comes down to the race. What I've done is I've written on this whiteboard over here, as you guys can see. I'll show you. These are just the 3 things that basically I've been doing and I'm going to be doing in the next 2 weeks. And when it comes to this specific race, this is not stuff that you have to do if you're doing this specific distance or specific race. This stuff has worked for me for mountain bike races, the Ironman 70.3, all sorts of stuff. So you don't have to kind of be put off if this is all about the ultra running and the trail running and stuff. This is my longest race coming up at 65K, so I'm also learning a hell of a lot of stuff as I go. But personal trainer wise, gym wise, fitness wise, these are just the kind of tips that have helped me kind of stay focused before a race and things that I think will help you guys. On this board here you can see that's the Ultra Trail Cape Town 65. Those are all of the checkpoints and the stops, and here is the map. I've been waiting for what seems like ages for this race. I've had this map up since even before I registered, just to kind of see the route, and I actually didn't ever think that I would be able to run 65Ks. And I've said to you guys before on the channel, I'll tell you the whole story and go through my experiences with running. And as you guys probably know, they didn't start with good experiences, shin splints, some injuries and stuff. And I just thought I was a bigger guy. I weighed about 80, 83, and I've cut down a bit now. But my excuse was I was a bigger guy. I wasn't built like a runner. And although I'm not doing the stuff to win races or anything like that, I'm doing it for the experience of it and the adventure of it. I think I've come quite a far way from then. And I hope to help all you other guys that are still getting into it and stuff, as well as getting into other sports, and kind of show you what I've learned along the way. What I basically do is, and this stuff is just basically focused on the 30th of November, which will be the Ultra Trail Cape Town, and I'm doing the 65-kilometer race. So that will be my goal. And for the next 2 weeks, because it's Saturday tomorrow, I'll block it out like this. I've got this next week, and I've got race week over here with my race on the Saturday. So basically, I'm into my taper weeks already. I've taken about 3 weeks when it comes to tapering, just because this is a 65 kilometer. It's one of the longest races. I think going into a race a little bit more rested than you should be is always going to be better than going into a race having done too much leading up to the race. And I've cut down my distance and my elevation. So for this taper, the basic things I'm going to go on is my distance, and that is my weekly distance. I will cut, and my elevation, because that has been quite a big training focus for me, especially going into this race. I think it's got just around about 3K plus elevation. So elevation for me has been a big training factor, and also my distance of my long runs. Weekly, I'm going to cut both of these. What I'm basically going to do is race week, I'll do 1 or 2 runs. And just a quick tip right over here, I like doing, if the race is on a Saturday, no matter what it is, I like going out on the Friday and doing about a 2 or 3K run with a few quick little sprints just to get my legs moving. It gets me kind of amped up and set up for the race. It also makes me wake up on Saturday morning if the race is on Saturday, and I kind of feel ready to go and ready to run. I haven't kind of been stagnant throughout the weeks, not doing anything, and going into the race feeling like I haven't really moved my legs and moved my body. So that's a quick tip. I like to move the day before this race right over here, which will be the Friday, and that I'll do a little run. During the week, on this week, I'll do another little run or something, but kilometers wise, I'll probably only get about 10K in this week, and not much elevation at all during race week. And then over here, it's actually tomorrow, that's a 16K. What I'm actually going to do tomorrow is do a 16 kilometer. It's literally minus elevation. So I'm running from above sea level down to like a little beach place down there. It's about 15, 16Ks with a mate of mine. And that'll be a great little run. It'll be kind of my long distance run for the week. I've cut a lot of other training. And getting into next week, which is your middle week over here, what I'm going to do is I'll do about 2 runs and I'll get about 15 to 20. This pen would run out now. 15. Let me just grab another pen quick. There, I've switched it up. I've got 15 to 20k that week. That'll be all pretty flat. I mean, not even 20k actually, probably about more like 15k. But that'll be all pretty flat. I might go do like a little hike up Constantia Neck if you've seen my other vlogs and stuff. Might do a little hike up Constantia Neck up the stairs. That with a run down will only be about 5k. I'll do 1 or 2 other little runs the following week. That's number 2, and that is change. You guys shouldn't change too much leading up to the weeks of the race. You guys should have tested out all your gear. You should have tested out your shoes. Don't go buy new shoes or change new shoes the week leading into the race. You need to have tested all your gear during your training, all your nutrition, very importantly during your training. Don't change anything new on race day, and don't change anything new with your taper and leading up to it. It's your tried and tested stuff, as I said, during your training is going to be the best stuff to wear on race day. So if you go to the opening of your race days and stuff like that, and you see they've got a whole bunch of gear that they're selling, be sure to get some of that stuff, support the race and the race organizers and stuff, but don't necessarily buy new shorts and new t-shirt and new shoes and expect to wear them 2 days later in the race. I think that would be, that wouldn't really be a recommended thing to do, no matter what you're doing in any discipline, any sort of race. The third thing on the list, and that is planning. What I do is I take the goal and I say what I do, my meaning what I do nowadays. What I basically used to do is I used to say, for instance, on a weekend, get amped up, organize with whoever's doing the race and stuff, enter a race, and then say, okay, on Monday I'm starting my plan. And I found, although that worked to a certain extent, the better way of doing it, and that is number 3 over here, and that's plan from the goal date back. So what I basically did with my calendar over here is I took the goal date of the 31st of November, it's actually the 30th of November, and I worked all the way back, working out my block of my 3 weeks of taper, and all the way to whatever my date was. And then it kind of set me at ease once I get into these weeks, because I know, and I've known from the beginning, months and months ago, that I've planned out all the weeks and all the workouts all the way to my race date. So taper, don't change anything before, and plan from the date race back. If you guys want to know anything else, if you've liked the video, hit the thumbs up. I wish you guys all the best of luck that are doing the 100, the 35 and the 65. I think there's a 25 as well on the Sunday, but I'm not too sure. So smash it. Have a good race. Enjoy this weekend coming up, because this video I'm sure will be up a little bit later. If not, first thing tomorrow morning after my run. And be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely doing some longer races in the years to come. I've actually seen a race the other day, which was a 100-miler just up country here, which I didn't actually know they put on. And although it's coming up a little bit too soon for me next year, because I am going to be doing the full Ironman in March, I will be definitely trying to do that in the following year. So I'm quite stoked to see where this channel leads me, and it's quite a nice place to kind of share my content, push myself, and you guys can just hop aboard, subscribe, and follow what's going on. Be sure to hit me up in the comments if you want to see anything else, and as I said before, have a good weekend. I'll catch you guys next week.